You're too small to even make the first shot." Senior Chief Diego Morales didn't whisper it. He threw the line across the firing lane. Sharp, deliberate, loud enough for every camera, instructor, and candidate to catch. Maya Mace Calder didn't blink. She tightened the sling of her M110A1 SDMR, an Army DMR issued for this joint trial between the U.S. Army Marksmanship Unit and Naval Special Warfare Command, NSWC. Coastal Training Center Palomar, a remote Pacific Range facility, lay cold under a wind that smelled of salt and metal. 7 steel silhouettes stood staggered between 160 and 320 meters. Only one magazine had been loaded, intentionally limited to 7 rounds. Per test protocol, designed to isolate individual shooter performance and validate the telemetry node, no spotters would call wind or hold. 1 mag, 7 rounds, clean variables, clean data, no spotter, low light, 9 seconds. This wasn't a qualification, it was data collection. If she proved the doctrine, the cross-branch marksmanship program moved forward. If she failed, it died before it began. Commander Elias Hale stepped forward. As range officer under JSOC verification protocol, his word controlled the firing line. Shooter will engage all 7 targets, 1 round per target, center mass only, time limit 9 seconds. Telemetry and biometric data transmit directly to NS2 and JSOC. Behind him, Admiral Marcus Lyle stood silent, hands clasped. He had pushed this trial through 3 layers of Pentagon approval. If Maya failed, he wouldn't get another chance. Morales shook his head. Physics doesn't lie. That rifle kicks hard. By the second shot, recoil's gonna own her. Most expected her to hesitate. Instead, Maya stepped forward. Boots pressed into sand. Wind narrowed to a single note. Noise receded. No smirks, no cameras. Only steel silhouettes, breath and heartbeat. A memory surfaced. Her father's voice from a soot-streaked Idaho workshop. You don't fight recoil. You redirect it. Let the rifle settle and it will stay with you. She dropped to one knee. The range went dead silent. Shooter, ready? Hale called. Maya exhaled and squeezed the trigger. Thump, clang. The first target dropped. Every smirk on the line vanished. Before we dive in, tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? And if you love heart-pounding military stories like this, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss the next shot. They thought Maya Calder was born gifted. They never saw what forged her. Before Palomar, before admirals, biometric vests, and telemetry overlays, there was a workshop hidden in the Idaho woods. Gun oil, cold iron, cedar dust, and the steady tick of a brass stopwatch. Her father, James Calder, former Army marksman, gunsmith, a man who treated precision like a religion, repetition, until reaction became reflex. At 8, she learned dry fire. No bullets, only trigger press, reset, breathe, repeat, each motion metronomed to that stopwatch. Muscle shakes, he'd tell her. Structure doesn't. Let the rifle settle, you move with it. By 12, she could field strip a rifle blindfolded, not for show, but because he said, "One day you'll have to fix it when your hands are shaking." Then winter came. A faulty heater, sparks, flame. The workshop burned before dawn. Her father didn't make it out. All that remained were ash, warped metal, and the half-burned brass stopwatch, stubbornly still ticking in the snow. Silence didn't comfort her. It made a map. At 20, she enlisted. Fort Hawthorne, Infantry OS Ute. The smallest in her platoon. Overlooked at first, then defined by quiet competence. Designated marksman school taught her to stop fighting recoil with force and start routing it through structure. Spine aligned, breath low, the rifle's energy flowing through bone, not tension. Then deployment. Syria, Raqqa, Deir ez-Zor, Rooftops, narrow alleys, sand thick as dust. In the field, she didn't have luxury. She had spotters, data from Overwatch reports, and after-action confirmation. During one operation, she put down dozens of Overwatch shots on hostile positions, each confirmed by spotter teams and radio logs. No hesitation. No careless shots. Her commander summed it up in one line. Calder doesn't fire. She decides. Now, back at Palomar, the stopwatch motif had a new stage, a telemetry node, sealed drives, and men in suits who wanted the numbers. One steel target already down. 6 more waited. The first shot didn't surprise them. It warned them. Steel rang. Sharp. Final. Maya was already shifting to target 2. No pause. No celebration. Breath. Trigger. Clang. 2 down. Morales lowered his binoculars. The smirk was gone. Target 3 sat half-hidden behind a concrete barrier. Most shooters stop here, recalculate, lose seconds. Maya didn't. She adjusted her shoulder a fraction, routing recoil through bone, not muscle. Crack, clang. Target 4, target 5. The rhythm wasn't frantic nor slow. Her intershot cadence averaged 1.0-1.2 seconds, a steady metronome. Subtler still was her micro-timing. The tiny difference between cue and trigger held under 0.5-0.1 seconds. That split, cadence and microvariance, made the impossible feel like habit. Wind off the Pacific crept across the range. Heat shimmered from the barrel of her M110A1. Breathing never changed. Target 6, 320 meters, crosswind, mirage off hot steel. She exhaled once. The rifle was pre-zeroed for the range. Her holdovers and wind calls were calculated before she stepped to the line. That prep turned a hard center mass shot into a practiced routine. Crack. Clang. 8 seconds. 1 target left. The final silhouette was tucked behind a rusted truck door, angled to break timing and confidence. Morales muttered, "She's going to rush it." She didn't. She waited half a breath. Let the sight settle. Crack. Steel fell. 8.9 seconds. 7 shots. 7 hits. Center mass. Then the telemetry lit the tent. NSWC's telemetry node and a stock-mounted IMU streamed the metrics. Heart rate held below 70 BPM. The IMU confined recoil traces to a 20 milliliter envelope on the stock, or matched the program baseline within 5% variance. Micro-timing variance stayed under 0.1 seconds. For context, many trained snipers spike well above 100 BPM under timed fire. Maya didn't even break 70. Not luck, not adrenaline, control. For a long beat, no one moved, no applause, only the uneasy calculation that something fundamental had shifted. Then, radio static. Command tent to Hale. Priority transmission from NSWC. You need to see this. Commander Hale glanced at Admiral Lyle. Lyle didn't blink. Document everything, he said. Because this wasn't just a perfect run. It was the beginning of a fracture. They want her pulled off the range. Immediately. The voice over Commander Hale's radio froze the command tent. On every monitor, Maya's final shot replayed. 8.9 seconds. 7 impacts. No misses. No one spoke. Admiral Marcus Lyle stood motionless, eyes fixed on the data feeds, heart rate steady below 70 BPM, recoil patterns tightly within expected envelopes, shot timing consistent, numbers too clean to dismiss. Then, a sharp electronic chime. Hale's laptop flashed red with an encrypted header. Pentagon. Office of Naval Weapons Policy. Preliminary directive, terminate program immediately. Verify chain of command signatures before enforcement. Someone whispered. That came from the Pentagon tier. Hale looked at Lyle. If we ignore that, Lyle cut him off, calm. It's preliminary. Until JSOC verification returns a validated signature, the directive isn't enforceable. Protocol allows continuation under my documented authority while we audit every action. We proceed. Hale nodded. Range safety remained his responsibility. Program authority rested with Lyle. Maya stood by the firing line, rifle grounded, waiting to clear her weapon. "Specialist Calder," Lyle said, voice calm. "Who taught you to shoot like that?" "My father, sir." "He teach you to ignore orders, too?" "No, sir," she replied steadily. "He taught me to finish what I start." Behind them, Morales stepped forward, not mocking this time. "So it's not strength," he muttered. "It's structure and discipline." Maya didn't respond. She didn't need to. Inside the tent, instructors murmured, uneasy. "She's Army. This is a Navy facility. We're about to defy a Pentagon preliminary directive. We could lose our commissions." Lyle's gaze swept the room. "Effective immediately. 6-week cross-branch pilot program continues. Calder will instruct Army, Navy, and Air Force candidates. All data remains internal. No external transmission without my authorization." Silence. "If anyone disagrees," he added, "sign it. Put it in writing." Not one hand moved. The red directive still pulsed on Hale's screen. Preliminary, unverified, awaiting chain of command confirmation. Someone high above wanted this buried. Inside that tent, on that day, no one moved to start digging. 6 weeks didn't turn them into believers. It turned them into witnesses. Palomar looked the same. Cold wind off the Pacific, steel targets lined in silence. But something beneath the surface had shifted. Soldiers from 3 branches, Army, Navy, Air Force, were hitting targets calmer than machines. By week 1, they called it luck. By week 2, it was a liability. By week 3, they were asking her how. The moment everything changed didn't come with applause. It came with failure. Day 3 of instruction. Morales walked onto the firing line without a word, lifted a MCO-13 rifle. "No philosophy," he muttered. "Just show me." He mirrored her posture. Spine neutral, elbows loose, breath low, no muscle fighting recoil. First shot, left. Second, low. Third, shoulder slipped. He lowered the rifle. No excuses, no sarcasm. Just a quiet nod. From that moment, he stopped trying to prove her wrong. He started helping her prove the system wrong. Outside the range, the system pushed back. Midway through week 2, a new transmission arrived. Not a threat, but procedure. Program under review. Funding frozen pending clarification. Data servers to remain online for audit. Admiral Lyle filed the only legal response he could. Order acknowledged, awaiting verified signatures per JSOC verification protocol, internal. It bought time. Nothing more. Week 5, the Pentagon didn't send a shutdown order. They sent people. 2 officers from the Office of Naval Weapons Policy, civilian suits, tier clearance. They entered without salutes, only credentials, sealed drives, and a sentence that sucked the room's oxygen. "We are here to observe and collect evidence for final disposition." They didn't stop the training. They didn't need to. They watched. They documented every heartbeat, every rifle trace, every soldier who no longer flinched when the trigger broke. And somehow, that was worse, because it meant this wasn't sabotage. It was a countdown. Final evening. The range was empty. The Pacific sun dipped gold over the cliffs. Maya stood at the edge, her father's scorched brass stopwatch resting in her palm. Footsteps in sand. Morales. "They're not done," he said. "Pentagon, Doctrine Division, they can't shut it down yet. They need proof. But once they have it, they'll bury it. And you." Maya didn't turn. "Then they'll have to take it from my hands themselves." He looked back at the empty range, where instructors who once mocked her now packed rifles the way she taught them. "So this is the end?" She closed her hand around the stopwatch. "No," she said, "it's the first shot." Wind tore across the coastline. Somewhere behind them, in the command tent, another message waited on Hale's screen. Received, but not yet opened. History doesn't always begin with permission. Sometimes it begins when someone decides not to stop. And Specialist Maya Calder wasn't done.